Welcome back to the Now Reality Podcast with Lady Colleen Heller. My guest today is Mark Wilson. He is a previous student and friend, and he participated in the Entitled to Heal promo demonstration that we did in Eastern Pennsylvania. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark.
Well, I'm an artist based out of Easton, Pennsylvania. I do mixed media work. I'm also a musician. I was born and raised in Easton. I live in Nazareth, which is kind of like the sister town next to it. I've been working with Lady, and I've been working on myself. I have an anxiety disorder, depression disorder that I've been working on, and it's an ongoing thing. That's why I've been doing what I've been doing.
Okay, great. So, what kind of art do you like to create?
I do a lot of mixed media work, a lot of like collage stuff mixed with painting, and but as far as like visual stuff goes, I like to do like a lot of like dark art, like biomechanical and like stuff that looks along the lines of like maybe something off a heavy metal album or something like that. Yeah, just like really strange, weird art. That's what I like to do.
Do you think any of it's kind of gothy for people who don't understand what metal art is?
Goth can be a word to use. I think more like grotesque, maybe. Maybe that's a
Okay.
better word. Yeah.
Okay, great. And what my favorite thing is that you paint all different things from skateboards to nutcrackers to
Yeah.
wood to canvas to you do many different types of
Yeah, I like to paint
mediums.
on things. I think that comes from, like, being into, like, graphics on skateboards and stuff like that. The whole, nutcracker thing, I started doing that because I wanted to get into, like, things that were more crafty for the space. The space that I'm in is, like, kinda like a craft place, but it's art, but it's also crafts, so I wanted to do something a little bit different than just paint. So that's why I got started on those. And of course, since I'm into like the whole dark theme, that's why I kind of went with the Halloween slash Christmas theme.
Okay, great. I never thought Christmas was a dark thing, but now that you say it, it can be a dark time of the year for so many people.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's during a time when everything's kind of dead. So, it's,
Yeah, I think emotions get a little bit overwhelmed with all the expectations of the season coming on people.
yeah, it's definitely a depressing time of the year for a lot of people.
Yeah. So let's talk about you accepting the invitation to be on Vast Entitled to Heal's promo vid when I asked you to participate because you'd worked with me before and we were doing breathing techniques that you had learned from me from years ago and you were still doing them. And also how you've brought it forward in your life. And you said yes. So why did you say yes?
Because I kind of want to like help educate people, on like what anxiety and depression are. I mean, I didn't even know I had it for the longest time, and I thought I was just kinda, like, being, like, weak or, like, a wimp or something like that, but, like, when you, like, realize what it is, you realize that there's more to it than that, and, I wish I would've, like, found out sooner, so I think that's kinda, like, why I wanna help educate people on what it is and, what the symptoms are and, like, what to expect from the way people treat you because I didn't really understand why people were treating me the way they were, but maybe if I understood, like, what I had, then I could have controlled myself a little bit better so that I wasn't kinda, like, getting picked on all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's more of an education thing than anything.
All right. And so you decided to come to join people for the promo,
Yes.
and the techniques we went over, some of them you knew because
Yes.
you've done them before. What technique stands out for you now, now that you've done this like a few weeks ago? What
Mhm.
still stands out for you as the one that you felt most drawn to? There were four protocols. What
Yeah.
was the thing that stood out, would you say?
I liked when, the one where we're bending over and then putting our arms to the ground, and then as we were breathing in and then we, like, shot up. Like, I like that one a lot.
Okay. Was that breathing or sound or movement?
I believe that was breathing.
Okay. So, did you like the one when you had to say your name out loud?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did like
that's the same one, right? Where you're leaning over and then you're lifting up and you're saying your name?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. So that's breathing and movement.
Yeah.
I had people saying their name so they could take their own power back, so they can really accept their name because that's what you're being called by everyone else. But some people really had a hard time saying their names
Uh-huh.
and they actually were choking on it.
Yeah.
So I found it really interesting to watch them break through on something as simple as exhaling and throwing your body out and saying your own name out loud.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people you could see because you were there, you could watch and see people's response. What did you think about the people that were doing that? Did you think that did anything stand out for you from anybody that was there?
I mean, I did kind of notice that people couldn't say their name. I didn't have a problem saying my name, and I don't. It's kind of confusing to me why somebody would have a problem saying their own name. But I mean, that's like the only thing I really noticed.
Okay, great. One of the other techniques we had was your basic breathing techniques, which is
Yeah.
whether you're in fear, if you're nervous, how to control your anxiety and your stress levels. Those breath cleansing techniques you learned from me from the first time you started doing breathing
Uh-huh.
with me. So, is there any one of those techniques that you really use now?
Is it 8-3? I think I do that a lot.
So,
Six.
can you explain what that means, 8-3, for people who have no idea what you're talking about?
Well, like you breathe in for 8 seconds, and then you hold for 3 seconds, and then you breathe out for 8 seconds, and then hold for three 3 seconds, and then you keep doing it until you feel better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the short one, when do you use that over the long breath?
Well, the short one would be when you have high anxiety and or like if you're in like a panic attack or something like that,
Do you
and
feel like it's worked for you?
it definitely works for me.
Definitely. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
and those are the ones that I use at work, because I have to do it quick. And usually that's when like panic attacks happen is when I'm in places that I sort of can't get out of. You have to be there for 8 hours or whatever, and I can't leave or whatever. So if I do get a panic attack, it's usually at work or something like that, and then I use those the shorter breaths to get rid of that. Yeah.
So 5 in, hold for 3, 5 out, hold for 3.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I kind of call that the fear breath, and that actually gets the vagus nerve to line up, which you
Uh-huh.
don't realize is off balance, but you feel it. Feels
Uh-huh.
like anxiety and stress. You feel it coming on, and then the anxiety and the stress go together, merge, and they make this panic attack, which
Yeah.
is I know you have them, but do
Yeah.
you? I think you've really tried to. I think you've really made changes
Hmm.
and in your life for it because you like know what to do next. You're not having to think, "Oh, what am I going to do?" How
Hmm.
do you feel about that statement?
Yeah, it's definitely true. Like, I mean, even before, like, I didn't know exactly what was going on. So, like, just having the education now and like knowing what's going on, it helps you to kind of like realize what's going on in the moment. Like before, I would just be confused. You know what I mean? But now it helps it to go way faster. But it also helps you to deal with it better because you know that you're not just going crazy or something like that.
Yeah,
Before, that's
right.
pretty much what I thought. Is it's like having like ruminating thoughts and having anxiety and stuff like that. It's basically like you thought you were like going crazy or something like that, and other people thought that you were like there was something wrong with you, which there is, but just not the way they see it.
When you having anxiety and panic kind of attacks, what's happening to your body?
Well, I get tightness in my chest a lot, and I get shaky sometimes. Sometimes I get fatigued. There's many things that happen. Like I get knots in my back. I know that's a part of like the tension or whatever, but like they're very distinct. Sometimes fear and paranoia play into it.
Mhm.
You know, but not all the time though. Like you're not always scared. Like people always think you're scared, but you're not always scared when you have anxiety. But sometimes you are.
Yeah, they're closely related.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like, you could, like, not be thinking about anything and have anxiety, and then people are like, "Well, what are you afraid for?" And you're like, "Well, I'm not afraid, I'm just, anxious or whatever." But they tend to always think you're afraid for some reason.
The thing for me, Mark, with people that have anxiety and stress related disturbances in their life, we all have it to a point. But when
Y
you really get these moments, you look scary. People look at you like, oh, something's wrong, that guy. But it's really trying to get a grip on that discordant sound that you're throwing off and people are not knowing what to do with. It's not you are scary, it's how much anxiety and stress you're holding on to is
Mhm.
scary. I don't
Yeah.
think people understand that.
No, I don't think they understand it either because, there was a lot of times where I didn't know I was looking like I had anxiety at all in, like, social situations, and then somebody would and, I didn't really feel it on the inside either, but I must have had just a little bit, enough to make me, like, look like like there's something wrong, and then people would say, like, "Well, what's wrong? You seem, like, upset or something," and that statement alone would, like, trigger me, and then I'd be in a full-blown, anxiety attack.
Yeah. What I want people to understand from this conversation is Mark has put himself in front of the camera with this situation that he carries with his life. It's not going away. It's only about management, and management eventually will become the norm. There won't be management. It'll just be you have a issue, this is your response. Your body will naturally go there.
Mhm,
So as you grow into different techniques and understandings, that kind of smooths out. Oh, I'm feeling, and then you deal with it, and then you just go back to your normal plateau, and you're fine. But for the rest of us who don't have it as profound, we view the person not thinking, oh, he just needs a minute. Or if you don't know him, you won't think that, oh, just Mark's got to breathe now. He'll be fine. Like there's nothing about you that they should be worried about or scared
mhm.
for or feel like, oh my God, you're gonna blow up, you know?
People I noticed that people like, when you need space, people don't really give you that space. They like unless you tell them, but, like, if they see you in an anxiety attack, they wanna, like, be right up on you and be like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And that makes it worse, you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
they really just need to give you a minute. But people's first reaction is like, "Just relax, you don't need to feel bad or whatever," but, it's like it's kinda like a trigger, though. Telling somebody that is, like, in an anxiety attack to calm down is not a good thing, you know what I
No.
Yeah, because it's like a
No,
trigger.
it's not. But I think when you know that the general public, and I do mean all of them, are clueless about this emotional body you have,
Mhm,
and they've not been educated, they don't understand it, which is why we're doing this documentary, so that
mhm,
people can understand your emotional body is holding situations and traumas and dramas and stress and anxiety everywhere. It doesn't say, "Oh, it's here in my hand." No, it's not here in my arm. It's not here. It's anywhere and it can rise up and grip you. And when
mhm,
it does, your space becomes very small. You don't have reach. You're like, "This is me. Don't get near me. I just need to expand again. Let me do that." And
mhm.
what's the first response is for us to go up to you and, "Oh, let me put my hand on him. Oh, he just needs to look at me." No, he doesn't need any of that. But Mark, the truth is you have to say, "I just need a moment by myself. I'll be right back." And you have to educate this way because no one knows what to do
Yeah,
and they want to help, but they're not, like you say, they're not really helping you when they come close and try to get that hands-on moment because you're ready for that
yeah,
after you've passed it, right?
yeah. I don't know why people don't, like, really understand anxiety exactly. Because I feel like just having it a little bit should, like, make you, like, realize what it feels like if it was extreme, but, and I don't know if everybody feels it. I mean, I would think that everybody feels anxiety, but people act like they don't, like, feel it sometimes, so it's, like, really hard for me to understand how they can't picture it, you know?
So for all the years I've done this, one of the things that stands out is people don't recognize their own anxiety.
Yeah.
They don't recognize their own levels of stress they've been carrying around for years. They know how they deal with themselves, but to see it on someone else, it triggers them too, and they think what they're missing, they need to give you, but it's actually not that. That's their own response to their own memories and their own anxiety they're in. But the
Mhm,
depth of anxiety and stress, no one has been taught. No one understands it well enough until they have education, which
mhm,
is what we're trying to do here.
mhm. Yeah, my mind went blank, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
So one of the other things we did was the breath sounding.
yeah,
Um, Now, not everyone was there for that afternoon sounding moment. You were there. You
yeah,
were there for all of it, so I was really proud of you for staying and you really wanted to, so it really showed, you were really in it.
Yeah.
What did you think of that when everyone was doing the sounds, the A, the ah, the E, and then people were standing, they were sitting, the sounds were undulating. How did you feel about that whole,
I li
technique?
Well, I liked it 'cause I liked the way everybody sounded together, you know what I mean? I like, the harmony in it, you know? I'm a musician, so I would like that kinda thing, but, it kinda, like it helps my anxiety, it kinda, like, resonates inside me, like, you know what I mean? I mean, all music and all sound does that to me, but that day, like, I really enjoyed that for that reason.
Yeah, I think the shocker for everyone I've spoken to so far is that that sound we had as a group was etheric almost and vibrating at a level that everybody felt good in it. There wasn't a
Mm,
person that felt, "Oh, I'm off pitch. I'm not toning well," or whatever your level was, it joined in with it was exactly where it needed to be for the entire group.
mhm,
Even the sound people and the director and the people taking the film were all like, "What's that?"
mhm.
So I'll be happy to see that translate to film, but, your overall opinion of that was you felt good in it too.
Yeah, I felt good in it, it felt, like, resonating, like, around me, you know what I mean? And I don't know, like, I really like that, and, like, as far as meditation goes anyway, I tend to, use, sounds and music, like, whether it be, like, a meditation YouTube, um, song or something like that, but I sounds help me. They help me to meditate, and they help me to, you know, they help me to get rid of my anxiety.
Well, it's kind of interesting. We've been doing this for, like, forever, and now science all of a sudden is proving that, in fact, sound is one of the easiest things to do to get yourself lined back up again, to take away anxiety and stress and to center yourself. And it's simply through humming, which we also did, which
Mhm,
was just to hum, which with your breathing techniques for when you get anxiety and you are tight, that inhale for 5, hold for 3, exhale for 5, hold for 3. Try inhale for 5, hold for 3, hum for 5, hold for 3, inhale. Put the hum in in your exhale. And
mhm,
then kind of notice the difference because you know this routine you do anyway.
mhm,
What's the difference if the hum is in? That goes right to the from the top of the pineal gland right straight through to the bottom of your flame. You're
mm,
just lining up the vagus nerve completely in those short breaths. I mean, you have to do it more than one time, obviously,
yeah,
but it would be interesting to see what you come up with because you've done this for a while now. What if you put the humming in on any of them? Either the 8/4, the 8/3s, the 10/2s. I mean, we got everyone to breathe up from what they couldn't do, eights they were choking on, to ending up in 15s and 20s.
uh-huh,
Remember?
yes,
And people were saying, "Oh, I can't. It's okay, we'll go again." And
yeah,
then all of a sudden, they were breathing in ways they never thought it was possible.
yeah,
Yeah, I found that was really exceptional. The whole room was just quiet.
yeah, I like that too.
What do you think about well, this I mean, that's kind of the reclaiming breath. Well, what did you think about the self-hypnosis?
Um, I like it, I was kinda wondering if I was doing it correctly, and sometimes I feel like I can't get, like, fast enough, like, you're supposed to go, like, faster or whatever, and I feel like my eyes are going, like, real slow, but, like, I don't know how well it works for me, like, but, I guess I have a little bit more learning to do on that one.
I think that's about practice.
Yeah,
Because to do the side to side, to look right, left, right, left, right, left, it's almost if you say it,
yeah,
then you'll do it because your body will do what you tell it. So if you're saying right, left, right, left, right, left, you're going to look right, left, right, left, right, left.
yeah,
The thing that was most important in this little tiny short window of explanation was for you to say, what do I want? What do I want now that's attainable now, not something, what do I want that I'm gonna have this year? No, no, what do you want right this moment? What's gonna happen? Let's say you're going to a party or something and you want it to be fabulous. Okay, put that into your mindset, and that's what you're gonna find there. So
Uh-huh.
that really the self-hypnosis is not for long term, it's for short term. Long term one I didn't teach. I wanted to do short term so people could find out,
Yeah.
and the people that did it that way actually did find out they got what they wanted and they were shocked. This I found out 2 or 3 days later because we wouldn't know until they left
Yeah.
what happened. So I think with you, if you try that again, and don't worry about how fast you're going, just keep saying right, left, and
Yeah.
your eyes will go there. And look, pick a point on your hand that you can go to, not too far away, not too far back. You should be able to see your thumb in your peripheral vision. If you can
Okay.
see it, then that's what you head for, the palms of your hand. And if you do that before, first off, you have to do it for a bit first so you can really get the mind tired. And then you close your eyes, you go back to your own breathing, and then you think of what do I want right now? I mean, what am I walking into? Like the next few breaths. Today I have to go to the store. Today I have to go to whatever it is. What do you want? And joy should be the first thing that you think of. I want joy. This way it's open to interpretation, to the ethers and to vast. How do we give him joy? Well, it's going to show up the way it wants. It's not your ego telling it how it's supposed to show up. Do you
Mhm.
understand?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was one of the difficulties for people
Mhm.
was to get their ego out of it.
Yeah. Is
Um,
like
let me ask you this, Mark.
okay.
You have What is the difference, do you think, of who you were, let's say 4 years ago,
Mhm.
to who you are now? What is the main change that you've found in yourself since you've been working? And specifically, I'm talking about working on yourself through this time.
I mean, I definitely think I have gotten nicer. Um, I mean, that's one thing. The main thing that's changed with me, probably my confidence. It's real hard to say.
What
Um,
about self-worth?
yeah, I would say so because I feel like I've been doing this art thing for at least 4 or 5 years now, and I feel like since I feel like I achieved something with it, so I feel like I am definitely worth something because of that. Like,
Right.
I don't feel like I mean, I guess I kind of felt like a loser before, like when I was in social situations, and I don't feel like a loser anymore. Like I feel like I'm actually doing something that I could talk about, which is important because when you're just spending your days just kind of like partying or whatever, and the only thing you do is go to your job to pay the bills, like not even like a special job or anything like that. It kind of makes you feel like, kind of makes you feel like a loser a little bit. And I don't really feel like that anymore because I have come a long way with my art and I have sold a lot of pieces at this point, and I have done a lot of things in the community, things that people wouldn't even do, you know, like even artists, I think they don't do a whole lot with the community, and I do. So I feel kind of confident about all that kind of stuff.
That's great. That is so great. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on and going over this. Mental health is real. People who think that they know somebody who's tense or looks angry or is upset all the time, they don't understand that there is another thing going on. And a little bit of kindness and compassion and quiet will help you determine that. However, at the same time, you're not going to fix everybody and you're not out in the life to fix everybody, but you are here to be kind. There's no reason to jump to decisions. And like I said, we're not taught that. One of the things that really stood out when I started doing this documentary was that people don't understand their emotional body holds the trauma and the memories in the meat of you. It's in places. So if you are really upset about somebody, you see somebody you haven't seen in a while, and you realize that that person hurt you before, you'll get a backache, you'll get a leg ache, you'll get a stomach ache. So your stress levels will come up, but your meat hurts. And if you watch this happen to yourself, you'll see where the meat hurts. And what you do then is breathe through those areas and you give it a chance to get out because it's dictating your future. Your now completely changes because you're in this position of of memories of trauma and drama and emotional upheaval from your past. It's got nothing to do with what's in front of you. Whatever that is that triggered it, your whole response is there. And that throws people off as well. So knowing the right technique to do when those situations come up is also really helpful for you and as it shows up in your art because you can see it in your art sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, your crow showed it.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard for me to tell, like, with my own art, but I've heard that before, though, you know?
Yeah. And I think that when some of the like Van Gogh, look
Yeah,
at his work.
yeah.
For a man who is as tortured, his early work is obviously tortured, but his later work and colors and swirls and the vibrational levels he understood, the
Mhm,
fields and how he was working with it, none of that was from the same person. Well, it was the same person, but there was a different person before with the angst and the anger and the stress and the worthlessness and his brother treating him horribly. And there it was, you couldn't miss it. And
mhm.
then into the colors. And even when he hurt himself, he was still trapped in the world of color in a different dimension than what he was in when he was dealing with his art of the people and the prostitutes and the dark areas. He's a
Mhm.
great study for mental illness.
Yeah. I feel, I kinda feel like a Van Gogh kinda painter or something like that, I mean, I didn't always like his story, but, I've come to respect it.
Yeah, this is the word, respect it.
Yeah. I
Okay,
don't plan
great.
on cutting my ear off or anything like that.
No, let's don't do that, Mark. So, is there anything you'd like to wrap up with for yourself as we move off the podcast?
Um, I think I'd just like to say that, you know, if I could do anything with all this, I really just wanna help people. Like, I want people to understand that they're not alone. 'Cause I still do feel alone sometimes, but I felt alone for a real long time, and I feel less alone now. And, like I said before, I wish that I would have caught all this a lot earlier, but, not to dwell on it because that won't do any good either, but, if I would've if I if I would've realized earlier, I think that maybe I could have achieved a lot more with maybe, like, my music and maybe even art. Not yeah, I love doing my art now, but there's, like, a lot of, like, time that I had that I can't get back, and that kinda bums me out. So if I could help people that are younger than me to understand this, that's what I'm in it for.
Okay, great. Well, maybe we can do some more things on that part,
Yeah,
some how to's and understanding through techniques. You can do them while I'm talking about them and you can show them so
yeah,
people can see what that's like. And they're ones you choose. This is what I do. I'm going to do this and I'm going to explain it while you're doing it. So people can get the how to, which is, it's so necessary to know simple things you can do to get yourself back into a nice level place, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you, Mark Wilson. What's your email address that we can find you at?
Well, my business one is mark@wilsonartstudio.com.
And your website?
It's, wilsonartstudio.com, but I'm actually in the, middle of switching over from my, Square one to my Shopify one, so it might not be that one anyway.
All right. So we just know that it's Mark Wilson Art. And you're on
Yeah,
Facebook and are you on Instagram as well?
and I'm on Etsy, that's wilsonartgoods.etsy.com.
Can you say that again slower and louder?
It's wilsonartgoods.etsy.com.
Great. Because
Yeah,
now they can hear that. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, well, this is the end of the Now Reality podcast with Mark Wilson, my guest. And we will see you next time. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and share so that we can give you more free content on how to live in the life that you choose. Take care.